said about a good point about ISL, right? That obviously some people don't like the idea of it. Some people support the idea of it, and you have been involved with Mumbai FC, I guess, since the start. I would say.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mumbai
it's
City
been
FC.
a long time. Yeah, Mumbai City FC. So what are the right things that are happening in football right now for India?
I think the first major thing that is happening is awareness about Indian football, because I have been a live example of it. Had the ISL been not there, I would have got to know about Indian football maybe 2 years later or 3 years later, just by bumping into someone randomly. So that is one thing that ISL has done, is to bring about awareness. The other thing is that you have had players like Sandesh Jhingan come up only because of the ISL. Like, had the ISL not been there, maybe they might have joined an I-League club and then climbed up the ladder and then became famous and all of that. But if you look at the ISL, it has also provided a lot of promising talent. Now I'll talk about the downside when it comes to talent, is that there is not enough game time available even if you have the best talent in your squad. That is exactly the same thing that has happened with players like Komal Thatal, players like Dheeraj Singh. When Dheeraj was actually playing for Kerala Blasters, he did get opportunities to start as a goalkeeper. But ever since he went to ATK, I think he was only there for one game against Bengaluru, if I'm correct that way. So when you look at it, the fact that ISL lets you field foreigners in a very large capacity, that cancels out opportunities for Indian talent. So even if you have a very experienced striker or a striker with good potential who is an Indian, he won't feature in the starting 11 just because you have a foreign striker who is a bigger marketable product.
Yeah.
And to take that point ahead, if you ask me right now who is the next person to follow the footsteps of Sunil Chhetri, I don't have an answer. Like every month, my answer would change depending on performances that have been put in one particular game or in a set of 2 games or 3 games. But the fact that ISL clubs themselves don't entertain fielding Indian strikers, that is a massive problem for the Indian national team, because when you play a tournament across 10 days or 15 days, you can't field the same striker over and over again. You have to have a strong backup. So I think that's one area ISL has to massively improve.
Just talking about ATK, they have the backing of Atletico Madrid, right? They have a partnership with them.
No, that ended after season 2 itself. Like it ended within 2 seasons. But right now they obviously have the backing of the Sanjeev Goenka group, and now they have merged with Mohun Bagan. So that way, I think they have a new entity.
Do these kind of partnerships help, where you partner with a European club or where you partner with bigger footballing institutions? Do these partnerships help Indian football, and how do they?
I just speak from my limited experience, and I'd like to have Sagar and Sachim add later on. What I feel is that most of the partnerships don't work in India because of the lack of professional ethics in terms of work. Like when you even see a club like East Bengal, there have been so many news reports that talk about the fact that their officials are not as professional as a foreign entity would expect them to be. Now, all of these are based on my reading of the news. I am not someone who is directly connected or knowing what is happening, but a lot of partnerships fail because of the fact that when these clubs come in, they see a lot of promise in terms of the population of India, the extent to which they can penetrate the Indian market. But when they actually have to start dealing with the Indian officials, that becomes a pain for a lot of clubs. Like you saw the ending of the Atletico Madrid partnership with ATK initially. Then they went to Jamshedpur, and recently there were reports that even Jamshedpur is going to break off the partnership that they have with ATK. So there have been so many initiatives. Even DSK and Liverpool had a partnership. They did set up a Liverpool academy, but I don't know how far it went. Maybe Sachim and Sagar can add to that.
Yeah, if I can, add here, the thing about ATK is ATK that they initially, when, it was Atletico Madrid itself, who really announced the club, in Spain in one of their home matches, that, this is where we have invested, and, this is our team now. And at that time, what ATK was really looking for, is to invest more at the grassroots level. Whenever any foreign clubs comes, whenever any European clubs come here, they want to explore the market from the bottom level itself. They want to invest in the grassroots because ultimately they want to, the goal or the intention is always that they can develop these players, and then they can pick those players and they can give them the game time in the original teams in Europe.
Yeah.
And that's where it went wrong at ATK, because given the structure of ISL, it is purely on the basis of competition, and initially like there are no any repercussion for these clubs, there are no relegation for them. So in that way they played very in a secure manner, that they only want to focus the first team operations. So that's where what I have known, from many of my friends who are, covering football in Kolkata, that's where it went wrong, that, ATK really wanted to focus at grassroots level, but that was not, on a priority for ATK. I mean, Atletico Madrid, you wanted to invest at a grassroots level, and that was not a priority for ATK. So that's why, they had a split. And it's not only ATK, even as Adarsh said, that Liverpool also, which came and which had a partnership with DSK. I would go on to say that was one of the best academies that they were running in Pune. And Lalwinzola Changte and Jerry, these both players have came through that academy. And we all know, who have been following football, that how good they are, and even they got an opportunity, to train with Liverpool. So that's what that's always is the intention, from these clubs that are coming from Europe. So what they always want to do is they really want to explore the market, because they know that India has a massive population. Talent का कोई कमी नहीं है. If you will go on to scout at every corner in every state, you can find a great talent, and if nurtured properly, it can really go on to become very good players. And that's where where it goes wrong with Indian clubs' mindset. Especially if I speak about ISL, as I said, since the structure is such that relegation का डर नहीं है. They are not really challenging at a competitive level. Also, there are no incentive for them as well to develop a player. That's also one of the complaints which are coming from the clubs for a very long period of time. And that's in fact the fact that AIFF had to push the AFC licensing criteria on these clubs, because these clubs were not really doing anything at the grassroots level. Like in Kolkata, it's always about derby, it's always about East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, and then it's always about winning the league, winning the local league, their CFL. So the focus have always been from the top tiers club at a higher level. And I mean, I do realize, we can't really blame them as well, because the structure we have in our country is, was a mess, and now also it's not up to the mark, though it's, the things are changing. Now, at least, we know we have a roadmap, and we have, some idea that, how things will go, and eventually the relegation and the promotion will come, and there will be a lot of emphasis on the club licensing aspect of it, and that's the reason why then these clubs will go on to develop these young talents. And also there are only very few clubs who really focus on grassroots. Like earlier in early 2000, even before, the maximum players used to come from only one academy, that's Tata Football Academy. Apart from that, you rarely see any talents coming up, from a club level at a, younger age, and then go on to get promotion to the first teams, and then eventually that benefits into, developing the network, the national team as well. So that's also one of the important factors, that you need to have that passion, that you have to develop a game, and you have to have a mindset that it's a long-term process. Many people goes wrong. They go wrong because they want results, and I would not blame them, because as others said earlier, that it's our mentality, Indians mentality. We are glory hunters mentality, and our attention span is very short. So बोलते ना फट results चाहिए. So that is something which people who are investing in football needs to understand, that it's always a long-term process, and once you're constantly putting your efforts, and you're constantly investing from the bottom to top, and if you're taking bottom to top approach, that's when these results will come in. It will take time, but definitely the results will come in, and you will see more young players who are being developed and playing at a higher level, and even go on to play abroad as well. So that's how
May I just add here a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I beg to differ here a bit. There is a lot of problems with European investment coming into India, is that what their intention is. Like, but in case of Atletico de Madrid, the intention was good to probably scout a lot of players and create a culture around at a grassroots level for a investment here, and maybe even scout a player or two. But in case of a lot of other investment that is happening here in India right now, as we speak, is the intent is more on the commercial aspect, and we are still not looking at players from India or any of the people from Europe who are investing here. Any player from India going to these European clubs or playing in the European leagues or anything. At the most, what is happening right now is that one player might go there for a season or something, play maybe a minuscule amount of games, and come back here and probably play the ISL. So definitely that's not the way it needs to be. And definitely there needs to be a lot more player exchange as well, and a lot more knowledge exchange happening on a real-time basis as well. So definitely the intent of a club in Europe matters as well. Definitely you need to have commercial interest, because without any commercial interest, you will not be able to generate revenue. But with those commercial interests, you need to also look at the long-term development of the game as well. So that's one problem that I see with a lot of European investment.
Okay, just pulling it back, because this is my question to you, Sagar, is that doesn't European investment help infrastructure in India? Doesn't European investment help the footballing infrastructure in India?
Not really, I would say, because as Sachin said that there are only few clubs who really come with an intent to really take that bottom to top approach. The only name that comes to my mind is DSK Academy, Liverpool DSK Shivaji's Academy, which they really went on to develop the infrastructure, and they have developed their own grounds and training pitches, and that's the only name that comes to my mind. But as Sachin said that the intention is kind of exploring the market, because they know, European clubs know that people are really into EPL, they are really into La Liga, and they want to capitalize on it, they want to cash in. Very few club which really comes with an intent to really investing at a infrastructure level, or even to invest to develop these players. City Football Group coming in with Mumbai City is one example that I can see, which will have investment in major aspect of the games like infrastructure, and we all know how big City Football Group is, and we all know wherever they have gone, they have really lifted those teams which they have invested in. Again, as I said, it's a long process. You will not get results in 4 years, 5 years time. It's a it's a long-term investment. It's a long-term process. But yeah, I don't think the European clubs which are coming here they really want to invest at a infrastructure level, because if you have seen in Mumbai, Manchester United soccer club, soccer schools that they have set up, they were also using the facilities at some of the schools, at Indian football schools and other parts, where they really they wanted to cash in on the name of Manchester United. Though I'm a Manchester United fan, and I mean, it's really sad to say that, but that's the truth, and that's what the intention with which they comes in here, when it comes to really getting into the market here.